Judge Michael Boren ordered Morgan Geyser's release yesterday. Geyser pleaded guilty to the attempted first-degree intentional homicide back in 2018 and was sent to the Psychiatric Institute due to mental illness. The judge says Geyser's crime was a brutal and terrible offense, but she has maximized her treatment options and is no longer a safety risk. The Department of Health Services must now set up a plan for Geyser to be housed in a group home. Anissa Wire, her co-defendant in the case, was released in 2021. They were 12 at the time of the attack. The first Safe Haven baby box in New Wisco will be dedicated at the Howard Fire Station No. 1 next week. Safe Haven baby boxes offer a secure option for mothers in crisis who can't care for their newborns. Howard Village officials say there are only 3 other Safe Haven baby boxes in Wisconsin, and they're all in the southern half of the state. When the Oshkosh Area School District started planning consolidation of the Westside Middle Schools, it was unaware of airport zoning changes that meant new school construction or expansion could not occur at the current South Park Middle School site. Now it owns 5 properties adjacent to the school that it can't use. Superintendent Brian Davis.
And we got approval from the county and the city to be able to resell those lots as residential lots, and for those people that would buy those lots to be able to put up housing.
Now the district is asking voters to decide on a $197 million referendum to consolidate the middle schools with a new building at the Shapiro STEM Academy site. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
Is Jordan Love ready? Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Packers face the Eagles Sunday in the wild card playoffs. Quarterback Jordan Love dealing with an elbow injury suffered during the Bears game that left his throwing hand numb for a few days. It's still bothering him throwing in practice.
Yeah, it's more my elbow, covering that. Soreness? Yes.
So how did he look yesterday? Could he run the offense? Head coach Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, he looked fine. He looked good.
Game time Sunday at 3:30. We'll have reports from Philly. NBA, the Bucks in Orlando tonight against the Magic. In Madison, the Badgers host Minnesota. Baseball, the Brewers reaching agreements with 5 players, including pitchers Aaron Savale, Yoel Payamps, and last year's closer Trevor McGill.
This is my favorite town, favorite stadium and everything. I really love this place. You know, it's baseball in Milwaukee, and these fans show up every day for us, and you can feel it.
They could not reach a deal with catcher William Contreras, who is headed to arbitration. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Scattered flurries and cloudy tonight, low in the mid-teens. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy, snow developing by night, high upper 20s. An inch or 2 of snow into Sunday. Snow tapering by afternoon, a high around 30. Colder for Monday and Tuesday. Currently, it's 26.
The Todd Alba Show.
What's going on in Washington today as we move into 2025? Have your antenna up. Don't rely on all the media sources. Just your own wisdom, your own heart, your own gut. Listen to what they're saying about our friends and neighbors and family, because we innately know these people that we live with every day in our communities. Don't allow words and thoughts to tear us apart. Hold fast to that which we know, which is good.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Jane Matnair and Greg Bach.
Coming up on the show, Donald Trump says he's going to drill, baby drill, when he gets into office. Matt Randolph, Mr. Global, explains what that means for us.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who loves the sin but hates the sinner, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome to Nite Lite, ladies and gentlemen.
I love sins and sinners. I'm not going to lie. I don't discriminate. Welcome to Nite Lite. Great to have you with me on this. This is a Friday. I had to pause there, even though it's Friday, and we are heading into the weekend. Wherever you're joining us from in the great state of Wisconsin, it is great to have you as we head into the weekend. Another weekend full of new movies and TV. You got some sports. I'm sure there's live entertainment where you are. So much to be grateful for as we approach this mid-January weekend. Typically, I would think that's not something to be happy about. I'm not a fan of January necessarily or February, but we've got lots to do and lots to be grateful for, and we will get to all of it tonight. Got a really fun show tonight. Joining me here in the studio at 6:35 is a filmmaker and Northeast Wisconsin resident Paige McKenna. She made a documentary called Gold about a strip club in, I'm not making this name of this town up. Conrad, have you ever been to Spread Eagle, Wisconsin?
I have not, no.
I haven't either. I've never heard of it. It's not that far away, though. It's pretty close. There's a strip club there, and Paige went up there to make a documentary called Gold. It's done very well. It's been reviewed well. It's had a nice festival run, and Paige is a filmmaker. She's made other documentaries, too, and has directed and produced, I think, commercials as well. So I'm very excited to have her in the studio at 6:35 to tell us all about Gold. I have a TV gig with PBS Wisconsin, too, where I introduce the films of Independent Lens and POV. So I have seen my share of documentaries, and they're so great. I mean, documentaries are easy to lose yourself in. They're educational, and they're so riveting. And frankly, folks, even though my background is the narrative world, it's much easier, in my opinion, to have a gripping or poignant experience with a documentary. You can do that with narrative films, too. There's just not as many of them. Whereas documentaries, there are so many great documentaries out there. So I'm excited to be talking a little documentary film tonight on Nite Lite. And Paige will join us at 6:35. And then our friend Lisa Hale, the host of New Wisco Weekend, joins us at 7:35. Tonight. Lisa is going to give us a rundown of what we can expect on New Wisco Weekend, this tomorrow's episode. What did you do? The theme is agriculture,
yes.
right? Okay.
Yes, so I kept it with sports a little bit, but also went into the movie route where we're actually going to have Anders on next week, Anders Lindwall, who's the director of Green and Gold. And I just kind of went in more depth of what it's about and how it relates to sports and agriculture.
Did you find a ethereal or a spiritual side to the whole story?
There's definitely more meaning behind it than just betting
Football
on the Packers,
farms.
you know.
Yeah.
There's definitely more behind it. It's a great story, and Anders, he kind of has a little synopsis on the website. It's great description, and he kind of explains why he wanted to do this film. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, it's nice that we could tie that into New Wisco Weekend because we'll get to talk about that with Lisa when she is here at 7:30. And Anders, I'm excited to talk to him next Wednesday, too. He's from the UP. He grew up in Stevenson, Michigan, I think in Iron River, Michigan, which, you know, I live in the Marinette area. That's like a half hour away. But he had a great cast. He had Craig T. Nelson, who's had an incredible career, and Brandon Sklenar, who is in 1923, and he is on the rise, too. Not that this means everything, but his IMDb Pro star meter is 20. He's at 26. So he's up there. And hold on, I'm gonna click on him because I want to see where. Sometimes they say, when we interviewed, he's gone down. He's at 26 right now, and his arrow is pointing down. So he was higher than that very recently. So, and when we had Adam Brody on the show, he was like number 4 on the IMDb Pro star meter, and his arrow had gone down, meaning he was either 3, 2, or 1. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just how many clicks people, you know, it means you're generating interest. And to have an actor like Brandon Sklenar in your movie, good for Anders. And that's like, it reminds me of the story. And I don't know when he signed on to the project, but I think I've told this story before on Nite Lite when the Farrelly brothers, they were making Dumb and Dumber, and they had Jim Carrey in the movie, and he was still primarily known as the In Living Color guy Well, Ace Ventura comes out while they're shooting Dumb and Dumber, and all of a sudden, Peter and Bobby Farrelly have the biggest movie star in America in their movie. So that's pretty cool. So this movie's coming out right as 1923. This movie, meaning Green and Gold, is going to drop and hit theaters on the 31st, right as 1923 is coming out. So hopefully Anders and his film Green and Gold will get a nice bump there. But we'll talk about that with Lisa Hale. I have my film of the week. Was a fun one to do, and I've already forgotten it. Heaven Can Wait. That's what I did. Yeah. And Lisa's great because she comes back at you like when I do my classic movie pick of the week every week. Lisa always sends me a message with a line or two from the movie I've chosen. Like, she's a big movie buff. So when Lisa's here at 7:35, she might have a few movie lines for me that I have to guess. So that'll be fun too. So a really fun show tonight. And, I don't think we should waste any more time. I think we should get to our question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
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 Pregunta. Question.
Question.
Okay, I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda.
Question. Questions.
In honor of National Peculiar People Day, who's the weirdest person you can think of? Who is the weirdest person you can think of? It could be a celebrity. I assume most people will go with a celebrity, a sports figure, politician. There's certainly a lot of people to choose from in that world, in those worlds. But if it's someone in your life, you can pick them too. Like if it's your brother, your husband, a distant cousin, or a neighbor, you can share that too. But just be aware of the name. I probably won't read a last name. And give me an example of why they're so weird, of the crazy things they do. Feel free to share that. Those could be fun to read. So who is the weirdest person you can think of? You can text us at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can reach out to us on the app, the Civic Media app. It's so easy, folks. We're on statewide, so you just click on the little message icon right next to whatever radio station you're listening to and let us know what you think. You can also text us on the stream. Conrad, how can people watch the radio?
Yeah, so on Facebook, we're WGBW Nightly with Pete Schwaba, or WISS. On YouTube, it's WGBW or Civic Media. And on Twitter, it is Civic Media or WGBW.
We've got some weird people in the state, in our own state, in our own backyard here. There's some weird celebrities. Do you have a weirdo that you would like to share?
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, I definitely do. And I know this guy pretty close in a work standpoint. Do you know where I'm going to go?
God, you are immature.
Pete Schwaba.
Todd Michaels. Don't talk about Todd that way.
Not Todd.
Then Jim or John, right? You're talking about Jim or John.
I know, Pete Schwaba.
It's really odd you would choose that. And here I am. Todd was making jokes about firing you before, and I came to your defense. You know what? You're on your own, pal. I'm going to say Marlon Brando. He has got a lot of weirdness in his closet. Some of the stories I've heard, I wouldn't repeat them because I don't know if they're 100% true, but he's just an odd guy. Odd family. But, part of that is what makes him a great actor, I think. He's completely, as an actor, was fearless. Yeah, I don't know. I just picked someone. I can't share too many weird details, and I won't do that. But I would say Crispin Glover. I've seen him on David Letterman before, and he's done some really weird stuff. How about, who's the guy that plays Borat?
Oh, I can't
He's
think of his
pretty
name.
goofy.
I can't think of his name. He is goofy, though.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yes.
Very strange guy. Who's the other one? Who's the British actor Russell?
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand.
Yeah, he's weird.
He's out there, man. There are a lot of people. There's a lot of politicians too.
Seth Rogen.
Is Seth Rogen that weird?
I feel like he kind of is.
I think he's. I don't.
Maybe he's not wrong.
I don't get the appeal. I think as a writer, he's pretty credible. He's written some great, or some successful films, I should say. I don't know if they're great, but the guy has definitely had his successes. But I think Crispin Glover basically got thrown off the David Letterman show once. Andy Kaufman was pretty out there. I mean, he was a comedian and did characters, but he has some memorable talk show appearances. So, but let us know who you think. It's National Peculiar People Day. So let us know who you think the weirdest person is. It could be a celebrity. It could be someone you know, a neighbor, a family member. If it's someone we don't know, let us know why you think they're weird or what weird stuff do they do. Let's do a deep dive into weirdness or peculiarity tonight. That's how you do Friday. That's how you light it up on a Friday. So we'll read some text when we come back. The Sopranos dropped today in 1999, 26 years ago. That's crazy. Did you make it through the whole show?
Never have made it through the full show, no.
Okay. I gave it a rewatch about 6 months ago. I probably finished it. I have to say, I don't know that it really holds up. Still a good show, but for me anyway, it seemed old or outdated.
Yeah, I mean, it was 1999 it came out.
But that's not that long. It's not like I'm going back to the age of classic, silent films or anything. I mean,
I guess it's calling myself outdated then.
Yeah. You were still a sperm. You didn't even exist yet.
I was born in 1999.
99? Oh, you did? That's the year you were born, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Coincidence that you were born in the year 1999, the year The Sopranos dropped? I don't think so. What do you make of that? This is interesting, too. There's a movie out there called Better Man right now. The lead character is a monkey. And the monkey is playing... We'll get into this after the break. It's a cocaine-sniffing, sex-addicted monkey. I'm going to tell you who that monkey is portraying in the movie when we come back. Where else can you get cocaine and sex-addicted monkey talk on a Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, rather than right here at Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, and that's what we're doing. Paige McKenna is here at 6:35 to talk about her documentary Gold, and Lisa Hale is here at 7:35. Great to have you with me on this Friday night on Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Matt Nair on Air.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. The beginning of the year means a new session for the Wisconsin State Legislature. Members of the State Senate and State Assembly were sworn into office on Monday, January 6th. There are a lot of new faces in that group, with 6 new members in the State Senate and 31 new representatives in the State Assembly. While Republicans will remain in the majority, that majority is now the smallest it has been in more than a decade. The days of the GOP's supermajority are over. After last year's elections under new, fairer maps, we'll see if those smaller majorities lead to more compromise in a legislature that's been dominated by the right for nearly 15 years. Just a handful of seats make the difference now between a Republican and Democratic majority, and there are many more opportunities now to bring accountability to legislators, especially those in competitive districts. And in a healthy democracy, that's the way things should be.
Find all of Dan.
Monica from the 608. responds to our question of the night, which is, who is the weirdest person you know? And like I said, it could be a celebrity, it could be someone from your personal life. If it's someone with your personal life, I won't read the last name, but tell us why they're weird. They have qualities. Do they do strange things in their yard? I don't know. Whatever. It's a blank canvas here for weirdness. That's our question of the night. Monica from the 608 says, you are Pete. Because you seem really cool despite doing a lot of nerdy things. PBS host, talk radio show host, etc. Just kidding. I love Director's Cut and Nite Lite. Actually, if you think it's someone else, it's probably you. So I guess that means it's me. Even a psychic told me I had a demented sense of humor. You know, I got to tell you, I'm surprised a psychic would say that. That sounds like, I always feel like psychics want you to keep coming back. So for a psychic to be that bold with you, Monica, maybe you just found a really good one. I don't know. I don't think you're weird, Monica. You're all right in my book. So thank you for listening and thank you for the text. And yeah, that was a good one. Boy, people sometimes on this show, Conrad, put a lot of thought into their text.
Yeah.
It's like that text has layers. There's like a narrative in there. Steady Eddie has written us entire books at times. Monica crushed it with that one. So, all right, before the break, I was talking about a cocaine and sex-addicted monkey. Do you know what I'm referring to?
It's a movie.
Yes. It's the movie Better Man.
Yeah.
And it's about the, what's his name? Robbie Williams. He's a British pop sensation, the lead singer of the boy band Take That. And apparently he has dealt with in his life, he had a drug issue, a sex addiction, and depression. Now, I've had 2 of those 3. And I won't say exactly which ones, but it's no picnic, folks. So Robbie Williams, when asked why they had a monkey, I couldn't wrap my head around this. I'm reading about this, and the trailer looks so goofy. But apparently, people love this movie. They're going to see the movie, and even with a monkey, a CGI monkey, as playing Robbie Williams, the lead character, surrounded by humans, they love it. And Robbie Williams was asked, why is a monkey playing you? And he said he gave a couple different reasons. It was interesting. He said he felt like a monkey his whole career. Hey, perform for us, sing for us, dance for us. So he's like a dancing monkey. And he also said, and I found this kind of sad, like, because it's kind of risky. Oh, a CGI monkey is going to play my character in a movie. Really strange. That could seriously backfire. In fact, the first time I saw the trailer, I thought it would. I thought, this looks horrible. Well, it's got over 90% good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and over, I think, 90% crowd response has been favorable. So, and he said the reason it's successful is because people care about animals more than they do human beings. So when they see this monkey on screen suffering from depression and doing cocaine and being a sex addict, people have more sympathy for the monkey than like if it was you, Conrad. I don't know what to do with that. That's sad.
Yeah, it's what he said is that they care about animals more. It was like, wow, that hits deep.
And it's true. You can kill people by the thousands in a movie. But if a pet dies, or like, you know, we were surprised when we watched I Am Legend. I watched it with my kids a couple weeks ago at Christmas. When the dog dies, and it was, you know, it was killed by other dogs, but still, you can't. It's tough to get away with killing a pet or an animal in a movie. So there's probably some truth to what he said. And I found that kind of sad, but he's probably right. I am curious to see the movie. I don't know that I'll see it this weekend. Den of Thieves opens this weekend. I saw the original. We talked about that a little bit last night. I was not a huge fan of the original. In fact, last night I tried to give it another watch. I got about 45 minutes into it. Then I had to go to bed. But where are you at on Gerard Butler?
I mean, I don't dislike him. I think he's had some good movies, but he's also had some really bad movies.
Some clunkers, yeah. I don't dislike him either. I just find him, I kind of don't get excited when I see that he's in a movie. I feel like I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get some action. I'm going to get some machismo, but it's not really going to do much for me. And I felt like that's what we got in Den of Thieves. Den of Thieves 2 had not been released to critics. Critics had not had the opportunity to take a peek. This is called Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. All right, so now there's some reviews in. 62% favorable. It is fresh as of right now on Rotten Tomatoes. 80% popcorn meter. That means 80% of the audiences have enjoyed the film so far. So maybe it'll be good. The first one got like in the 40s, so maybe this is better. It seems strange. Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. That's the big one opening this weekend. Better Man is getting 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Pamela Anderson film, this is interesting because we're kind of talking about exotic dancers tonight with Paige when she gets here and her documentary Gold. The Last Showgirl is about an aging, showgirl who has trouble retiring, and Pamela Anderson is getting rave reviews in the film, and that's reviewing at about 80% at Rotten Tomatoes. So there, I said this a couple days ago, there's really good films in the theater right now and to stream. There's none of the huge blockbusters, but all these films coming out just in time for award season are worth a look because there's some really good ones. You've also got tons of football. Did you watch that game last night?
Actually, I didn't get into that game last night. I don't know. I got home. Well,
what was it? The exciting finish that turned you off?
This is what happened. Okay, I get home and I have to unlock the building door for my apartment, and my key got stuck in it.
Oh, you're that guy.
So I had to call my super at 8:30. He did not sound happy, but he did it. So I really
he was
appreciate
watching
him.
the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so what happened was I turned the key and it went the other way and it got locked the other way. I don't know how it happened, but
he probably threw you under the bus too to all the other tenants. All right, let us know. Who do you think of who's the weirdest person in the world to you? It's National Peculiar Person Day today. When we come back, we are talking documentary film with local filmmaker Paige McKenna. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Hobart to Bay Settlement, 97.9 WGBW. This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Wisconsin-based Kohl's is set to close some of its stores, with 27 underperforming locations impacted by the decision. The closures are scheduled to happen in April. None of the affected stores are located in Wisconsin or Minnesota. A central Wisconsin man has been arrested after killing 3 people last week. With more, here's Civic Media's Jimmy Kuska.
The Juneau County Sheriff's Office said Thursday that they have taken triple homicide suspect Virgil Thew into custody. Thew is accused of killing 33-year-old Elizabeth Kolba, as well as a 13-year-old girl and a 12-year-old girl in his care. In a post just before 1 p.m. on Thursday, the Sheriff's Office posted that Thew was arrested in Elroy and that the public is not in danger. The FBI and U.S. Marshals helped in the search. New Lisbon police said that they received 172 tips as of Wednesday on Thew's whereabouts.
Thew is accused of killing the woman and 2 girls last Monday. Health officials in Wisconsin say a new strain might be the cause behind an unusually high number of norovirus cases this winter. According to the DHS, the outbreaks are normal during this time of year as people tend to gather inside, contributing to the spread of the highly contagious virus. But this year, there have been over 100 outbreaks across the state. Experts believe that the increase is due to a new strain of the norovirus that most residents haven't built up and immunity to. Norovirus causes vomiting and diarrhea and is sometimes called the stomach flu. Fire Chief Mike Stanley is leaving Oshkosh and is moving back to Colorado, where he will be the new deputy fire chief in Greeley. Stanley has been the fire chief in Oshkosh since 2018. Oshkosh interim city manager John Fitzpatrick says moving to Greeley will allow Stanley to help several of his family members in the state. Stanley's last day as Oshkosh fire chief is January 29th. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. One of the celebrities forced to evacuate their home was actress Jamie Lee Curtis. The Associated Press reports that the last Showgirl actress has pledged $1 million to start a fund to help those in Southern California affected by the fires. Celebrities who have actually lost their homes include Mandy Moore and Billy Crystal. The historic Will Rogers home in Will Rogers State Park have also been lost. Nikki Glaser says she was paid handsomely to host the Golden Globes last weekend, but she also told Howard Stern that she was paid less than her male counterparts who had previously hosted. 2023 host Jared Carmichael said in his monologue that he received $500,000. Glaser said she would have hosted for free to prove herself and is hoping to make more next time. Nikki Glaser was the first woman to host the Golden Globes solo. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nite Lite with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Scattered flurries and cloudy tonight, low in the mid-teens. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy, snow developing by night, high upper 20s. An inch or two of snow into Sunday. Snow tapering by afternoon, a high around 30. Colder for Monday and Tuesday. It's 28 degrees right now.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The Dom Salvia Show.
Brad Schimmel, a J6 sympathizer, and he wants to be your next Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice. When he was Attorney General of Wisconsin, he spent thousands of dollars on memorial coins.
I would have been fired
that stood
if
for
I'd done that.
Kicking ass every day. Hey, if you got to get a coin that says it, you're probably not
with
doing
your
it.
face on it.
The Dom Salvia Show. Weekdays from 4 till 6 on the Civic Media Radio Network and on the Civic Media app. Todd Albaugh.
Hey, everybody, join us next time as we will look back on the weekend news happenings and also review the Packers game and what lies ahead, if anything. Join us then.
Talking to my guest.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Nite Lite, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you with me on this Friday night. I am holding this up. Conrad, here's the ticket I got. In the parking garage, here's what I did.
Yeah.
This seems like such a victimless, harmless crime. So I pull into the parking structure. There is nobody in there. So I just want to make a quick exit at the end of the night. So I kind of angled my car. My pet peeve in life has become backing out. I refuse to do it. I'm anti-backing out. My wife will park the car in the driveway sometimes, and if she drove my car and I have to back it out, I erupt. I'm like, why? We have a big enough driveway. Just point it that way. So I've got my quirks. I know that. Anyway, so I park it in a way where all I have to do is pull out, and I got a ticket. And there it is. Look at that, Green Bay.
Did you park in the lines?
More or less.
I tell you, I get a ticket just about like once a month from the city of Green Bay.
They're pretty tough, aren't they?
They are tough, yeah. Mm-hmm. I deserve it most of the time, but sometimes it's like I run outside because I see them by my car, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, it's too late.
Do they know you? Do you have connections there? Can I?
No,
take care of that for
no.
me?
I have
Okay.
stickers on my car, so I drive a Subaru, so I think people know my car.
I don't know, Paige. I don't know what this world's coming to. It used to
I
be you
know.
could park your car, do yourself a favor,
Yeah.
but I
Should
don't
be
know.
easy.
Should be easy. All right, we're having this conversation. I haven't even introduced you, but I love that you jumped in on the parking.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot to talk about. If this is fun, my guest right now and the voice you're hearing is that of Paige McKenna. She is a documentary filmmaker from right here in Green Bay, and she made a documentary called Gold, which is about a strip club in, I'm not making this name up, Spread Eagle, Wisconsin.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Did you? That's a weird. That.
I didn't
Help
think
me
it
here.
was. Well, I didn't think it was a real thing. And then my friend, actually, he's from up in the area, and he was able to find the sign, like the not welcome to, but like the population sign.
Yeah.
And so he found the coordinates, so we were able to go up and grab a shot of it, because I was like, I need a shot of the sign for this place, because no one's going to believe that it's actually called Spread Eagle. And so we have a shot in the film that says Spread Eagle, and I think it's unincorporated. So,
But wait, that's the town name.
the town name. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just it. Just adds another little interesting
Oh, I know.
nugget to your documentary.
Hilarious. Yeah. Mhm.
So before we get into that, tell us, you're a native Northeast Wisconsin. You call Northeast Wisconsin home. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into your really cool documentary here.
Sure.
Paige.
So I grew up in a really, really small town in between Manitowoc and Sheboygan. It's called Mimi. It's like unincorporated.
I was wondering
as
how
well.
you say that. It looked like meme,
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Mimi. And so I went to high school, grade school in that area. And then I went to film school in California. So I was fortunate enough to go to film school in Southern California. I miss it a lot. I
Yeah.
love the weather there. It was awesome. I learned a lot, and then graduated in 3 years with my bachelor's degree.
No kidding.
And then moved here to like save money, and then moved back to LA and like really work in the industry there. And then I got a job at Launch, a local production company in Green Bay. And I was like, well, why would I leave if I have a opportunity in my hometown where it's cheaper to live and more opportunity, I guess, in the industry? Because in LA, everyone's trying to do the same thing. So
Right.
Here, I was like, I can, have kind of a better quality of life as far as like living on my own and like.
Sure.
So I've stayed I've been in Green Bay about 10 years now. So.
Wow. So you're not going anywhere, probably.
Well,
maybe for the right opportunity.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like a lizard. I love the warm weather. So it's really like this month is always
I want
a
to
struggle.
rethink this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you surprised at how, like, my first year, I lived in LA for 14 years. My first year there, I was like, this is really weird. Christmas, I see lights, there's no snow. I can't handle this. Literally by year 2, I was fine with them.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this
me
isn't
too.
so bad.
Yeah.
Like, you
was
get
like,
used to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, and I actually like now I dream about that. Where like, what would it be
Right.
like if it was like I was in the desert and I could just like decorate a cactus instead of a.
Oh, man. That's
snow, yeah.
hilarious. Yeah, you turn into a wimp pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I
Oh,
kind of missed winter at first, and then I was like, oh, man.
I've always been a wimp. So.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, so you're working here locally. You make this film. What made you? The film is called Gold. It's a documentary about exotic dancers. Is this club name Gold?
It's called the Gold Nugget.
The Gold Nugget.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you find the project?
Yeah, good question. So I made a film. My first film was called Seeds of Life. And I went to Haiti and I shot a film in 2020, so right before the pandemic. And that was about a Catholic nun who is from Brazil. And so she moved to the area 30 years from 2020, whatever year that would be.
Sure.
But she really has like devoted her life to the border area in Haiti and the Dominican. So she, has a lot of patience because there's a lot that the border area doesn't have. They don't have access to, the oceans, so there's no fishing. So she basically teaches people how to be self-sustaining. So it's, here's what you should plant. Here's what, how to do irrigation systems. And so that was my first film, foreign language. It went over really well. Like I was shocked. So I premiered it at the backstage at the Meyer a couple of years ago.
Nice.
And one of the girls in the film, actually, Allison in the film, Stacy in real life, her and her husband came to see the film Seeds of Life, and she approached me afterwards and said, like, I think I have a story for you if you're interested.
For Gold?
For Gold, yeah. Yeah.
So is she one of the dancers?
Mhm.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
She just happened to be at
yeah.
your other film. Wow, no kidding. That's great.
Yeah. I think she, she had wanted to tell the story of women dancers in this area for a while, and from my understanding, she was kind of looking for the right person to tell the story, and so I think she was, she heard about Seeds of Life and wanted to come and see it, and then approached me after the film and decided I was the right person for the job, and of course I said yes.
I'm glad because you did the film. That's why I have you on the show. If it was some, balding guy in a tank top named Lou who made a film about exotic dancers, I'm not having him in the studio to talk about exotic dancers.
Right.
I feel safer doing it with you because I can sense you're coming at it from a really cool perspective.
Yeah, it would be a totally different film if
for sure.
If a bald white man made the film.
We've seen that story before.
Yeah.
So all right, so that's great. So she approaches you. Then what were your next steps then? You meet this woman, because I'm sure you get a lot of people that say to you, I've got a great idea.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can get a great idea anywhere, but most of them probably aren't, even if they're not bad ideas, you don't necessarily want to put years of your life into pursuing it.
Right.
So what made this resonate with you?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
I myself have dealt with a lot of like stigmas being in kind of a male-driven industry, as like a woman in the film industry. I mean, there's some stigmas. I have also had my share of sexual assaults, unfortunately, and the story of like just women surviving and like prevailing really spoke to me. And the club is owned by a woman who was a dancer in the 90s, and she really like runs the club in a way to better all of the women and empower them and lift them up. And whether it's financial freedom, leaving abusive relationships, furthering education, she's just really, really been kind of a staple in these women's lives. And so when I kind of heard that,
That's interesting.
I was all in. I was like, I want to meet this woman.
Yeah.
And I remember, so Dusty is her dancer name. She still goes by Mama Dusty.
She still dance?
No.
Okay.
No, she's retired. She's
Okay.
she's retired, but she owns the club still. And so I remember having lunch with her probably 4 years ago now. And it was my first time meeting her, and she would not look at me the whole time we had lunch.
What?
I remember thinking like, this is going to be tough to gain her trust.
Yeah.
But that's 80% of documentary filmmaking.
Right.
I feel is like just really, really making your subjects comfortable and really finding common ground and help, and like just creating the space for them to be honest with you. So that was one of the things that took probably the most time. But once, I kind of broke down those walls a little bit with Dusty, I call her grandma. She's really a big part of my life and inspirational.
My guest is Paige McKenna. She made the documentary film Gold about a strip club in Spread Eagle, Wisconsin. The strip club is called the Golden Nugget?
Gold Nugget.
Gold Nugget. Okay. I'm thinking of the breakfast place.
There's one in Las Vegas that's called the Golden Nugget.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's Conrad's favorite place. So let's talk about that, Paige, the trust. Like you go from this woman, and I saw in your bio you like to get to know people before you put them on camera.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that every documentary filmmaker does that. Sometimes they roll the camera and they hope for the best. Yeah. Everybody has a different approach. How did you know this approach was for you? Like spending all that time, what if they never come around before you even turn the cameras on? Is there a risk there?
There is, yeah. Well, it's, I guess risk is a different way of putting it. I think like there's no time wasted on my part of like getting to know people and really finding out. People fascinate me. So I love people's stories and just kind of hearing different perspectives. That's kind of my passion, I guess, overall. And so I wouldn't there haven't been many times. I mean, I'm still like young in my career as a filmmaker, so there haven't been many experiences I've had where I've thought, I don't want to do that story. There's definitely, I find fascination in every person that I meet. And I think that's one of my traits that makes me a good filmmaker.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I kind of lean on now, I'm not seasoned. I have 2 films under my belt, but
yeah, that's something though. And
it's
film
2.
school. So
yeah. Yeah, true.
I think too, when you're willing to, I think people recognize someone like you that or someone they meet that does see fascination in regular people, because I think most people don't feel like they're fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
So to have that brought out of them, let's just say you had to find something fascinating about me. No, I'm just kidding. So I seriously though, I think that people, when they see that you're truly curious, that helps with the trust issue, which you have to have, right, as a director.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, it's funny you say that, because Dusty, in one of our Q&As, I try to have the girls on, and I say girls lovingly, like they like to be called girls, women. But we did a Q&A not too long ago, and Dusty took the mic, and she just kind of said, I didn't know my life was interesting until you came along.
Wow.
And that was this is why I made the film. If it flops, if everyone hates it, that's the relationship building, and knowing that I've touched a life has really that's the reason I make films.
Does everybody have a story?
Oh,
if you look hard enough.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because most people you probably group them into you could probably generalize or find a cliche group they fit into, but if you had to, that could be an interesting exercise.
Right?
Find something fascinating about this person.
Yeah, well, and there's so much judgment in our world right now too, and it's we all have our own experiences, we all have traumas, so I feel like it's just really important to create a safe space and a platform, even when I'm not have a camera on, just to be a good person and really see people for humans and who they are. I mean, everyone has a soul, everyone has traumas, everyone has problems, everyone has strengths, just finding the good in people and creating a safe space.
So you hear the music?
I do.
I know, Conrad starts the music and I'm like, what, wait, I have to ask a quick question or I have to do something here. All right, my guest is Paige McKenna. We're talking about her documentary Gold. It was shot in Spread Eagle, Wisconsin. Is that a border town?
Yeah.
You like the border stories.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do. Yeah, actually. Hey, that's a good parallel.
That's right.
Thank
Interesting.
you.
So we're gonna continue talking to Paige about her documentary Gold, which was set at the Gold Nugget in Spread Eagle, Wisconsin. So Paige is here in the studio at Nite Lite. And our question tonight, ladies and gentlemen, who's the weirdest person you know? It could be a celebrity, politician, sports figure, whatever. Let us know. And if it's someone in your personal life, give us an example of why they're so weird. There's a lot of weird people in the world too, Paige. Fascinatingly weird.
Yeah, that's why I love it.
We're coming right back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love. I found myself phoning her at least 10 times a day.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home of Mino and the Mayor.
In the market for a home loan? It's time to meet Kristen Ambos, the top 1% of loan originators in the U.S. and the #1 female loan officer in Wisconsin for 2 years running. With over 20 years experience, Kristen and Point Mortgage Corporation are here to serve all of your lending needs, from conventional to FHA, USDA, and VA loans. Plus, with their rate match guarantee, if they can't beat your pre-approved rate, they'll pay you $500. Call Kristen Ambos today at 920-606-1156 and let her and Point Mortgage make your home ownership dreams come true.
Hey, it's me time at Chula Vista. Time for you to pamper yourself. Wisconsin's most complete resort experience has everything you want. Fine-tuned for 70 years by 4 generations of the Kaminsky family, Chula Vista can be easygoing with colorful scenic river walks, 18 holes of classic golf, a relaxing spa, or you can go all out in 80,000 square feet of indoor water park. Ziplining through canyon views in Chula's Aerial Adventure Park. And dining comes any way you like it, from pizza to Wisconsin's #1 ranked steakhouse. More than 600 guest rooms to choose from, with $10 million in updates. Chula Vista, everything you've been wanting, all right here on site. Check it out at chulavistaresort.com.
Miles and miles of freshly groomed cross-country and hiking trails. Ski, sled, snowshoe. Warm up at our indoor water park. chulavistaresort.com.
Have you outgrown your health insurance plan? The number one reason we all change our health insurance is price. Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Would you like to have better coverage at a better rate? Take a few minutes right now and find out if you can save money or even qualify for zero-cost health insurance in your state. Call now.
800-693-9308. 800.
Course right, I'd leave to find an answer on the road. I used to be a
Welcome back.
some
Great to have you with me on this Friday night edition of Nite Lite. Lisa Hale is here at 7:35. Lisa's going to give me some movie lines. She covers news for Northeast Wisconsin for Civic Media. Does a great job. She also hosts New Wisco Weekend here at WGBW and WISS, and she is going to bring movie lines for me to guess. So I might need some help with that. Because
I'll try my best.
That sounds fun.
I do the classic movie pick of the week every week for New Wisco Weekend, and every time I hand it in, Lisa's like, "Oh my God, I love this movie," and she throws like 3 lines from the movie at me. I'm like, "Oh, we got to talk about this on the air, and you got to quiz me." So that'll be fun.
Oh, fun, yeah.
Right now, my guest is Paige McKenna. She's a filmmaker from here in Green Bay, and she has a documentary called Gold. And it was shot at the Gold Nugget Strip Club in Spread Eagle, Wisconsin. So, Paige, we were talking about, you mentioned earlier, and we were talking, during the break a little bit about exploitation versus empowerment. You said Dusty likes to empower the girls and gives them a great place to work. Is that the norm?
In my research, so
Okay.
I haven't done a whole lot of research in other states, but I did go to a couple other clubs in the area. And I will say Dusty's club is ran in a very unique way. She cares a lot about the women. She cares about their futures, about their past. She has no judgment, and she really embraces everything about the person. And I think that's really important. And for me too, I mean, I came into this as this project as like, I don't want to exploit. Like, I just want to empower. And it was a lot of listening, because I think, if you're in that industry, and I can't speak for the women, but I would imagine, and from my own experience, that there's walls that are put up, I guess, with any woman, right?
Sure.
There are walls that we all have as people. And I experienced, having to have patience and to be soft and open. And that was reciprocated, luckily, for me. So to have women trust me in that sort of way is really, really the win for me.
Yeah.
So, the first time we showed Gold, I was sweating bullets. I mean, I was really nervous, and we
Where
showed
did
it
you
up
show it?
Iron Mountain,
Oh,
so
wow.
really close to Spread Eagle. It's that community, and we purposely didn't do any marketing or advertising. We just kind of wanted to see who'd show up, and we sold over 100 tickets, and everyone loved it. And,
Like a local movie theater?
Mhm.
No
Yeah, the
kidding.
Brown Mart. Yeah, they were wonderful to work with. And Dusty sat right next to me and held my hand, and I thought my hand was going to fall off. She was holding it so tight.
She was nervous?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was so, and I get it. I mean, these women's like life stories are on the line, and they're out there now for people
Wow,
to.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
So that's interesting to me, because the dancers are willing to go on stage,
Mhm.
not wearing much.
Right.
But for her, it sounds like she didn't want to watch herself in a
yeah.
movie, or was nervous.
Yes. Yes.
Talk about that a little bit. That had to be a strange dynamic for all of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think, it's hard to speak for them, right? Because I
Yeah.
don't ever want to speak for them. They've had different life experiences, but for me, it was I could never get up on stage wearing hardly nothing.
You get used to
unless-
it.
Well, if I was inebriated or
Conrad,
on
you're supposed to laugh at
substances.
that. I just made a joke. And I put myself out there, and now I look like the big pig.
No, you're good. You're good. But I think now I lost my train of
So
thought.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Sometimes
you're good.
I have to go for the joke, and I don't mean to.
I think my point is, like, I don't want to speak for the women either,
Right.
and so I think from my experience, I could never put myself out there the way that they do every night, but I could open up and talk about my life and my experiences. And
Okay.
for them, it's kind of the opposite. It took a lot more for them to be open with me, but they can, be naked in a room full of guys and it's fine. And so that was cool too, to really see that,
Yeah.
that opposite dynamic of me and the women. And not saying if I had to do it, I could, I'm sure, but,
Right.
but, that two different perspectives. Yeah.
During the break, we were talking about, you mentioned trauma earlier in the interview, and then I said that there's a conception out there that most of the women who do this have trauma, or that's what led them to this.
Right.
Then you hear other stories, oh no, they do it for money. Where, is there a generalization there that's accurate, or do a lot of the women experience trauma and that's what leads them there, or is that how they deal with it, like you mentioned earlier? What do you say?
I think everyone has trauma, men and women. And I think it's just kind of how you can move yourself forward and move yourself past the trauma. And for some of us, for me, it's, therapy and talk therapy and, certain types of therapy that has helped. And one of the things that I asked one of the women, I've asked a lot of the women, how can you have this, say you have trauma with men. Not all of them do, but some of them do. Most of us do. And so you have trauma with men. How do you get up in such a vulnerable space? You're almost naked,
right?
Mostly naked, and you're, presenting yourself in this way. And how is that not triggering? And the most fascinating thing that has changed my life is that, they've said, well, I'm in control. And I have people that will back me up. I have a bouncer, Jim. He's wonderful. He's in the film.
Oh, cool.
And he really takes care of the women. And he's really like, if someone touches you a wrong way, I will throw them out. So the women feel safe. They feel safe and they feel in control. And that to me is like the coolest thing. Cause it's like, yeah, you go girl. And that's how they've gotten over their trauma, is like through this industry, which is wild. It's something that you wouldn't
mind-blowing,
expect.
kind of. Yeah.
But it's so beautiful.
That's great. Okay, so Paige is going to be here. We're going to do some news. Civic Media's award-winning news team is going to tell you what you need to know, and then we are going to be back with Paige McKenna. Lisa Hale is here at 7:35 tonight talking about New Wisco Weekend. We will be back with more Nite Lite, ladies and gentlemen, after the news. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
From Denmark to De Pere, this is 97.9 WGBW.
Hi, this is Jim Schmidt. Join me as we learn from the leaders of the village of Eschwabanon. Boy, they got it going on.
Lean Local with Jim Schmidt, Sunday afternoons at 1 on 97.9 WGBW and the Civic Media app. The Maggie Dawn Show.
Here's what the WSJ had said after J6. This week has probably finished Donald Trump as a serious political figure. Boy, that hasn't aged well, has it?
No, not at all. In the Wall Street Journal. So after what they just said 4 years ago, Maggie, they couldn't bring it upon themselves to say that guy who did that shouldn't be anywhere near the White House again. Nope, couldn't do it.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app. Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app. This is 97.9 WGBW Denmark, Green Bay's real news and great conversation, a Civic Media radio station.
ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. As he prepares to leave office, President Biden is touting the December jobs report, 256,000 created during his final full month in office, unemployment down to 4.1%. He touted the Inflation Reduction Act, the American Rescue Plan, and the CHIPS Act.
I believe the economy I'm leaving is the best in the world and stronger than ever for all Americans. So I think that's what we have. We'll see what the next president does.
Mr. Biden delivers his farewell address to the nation next week, Wednesday. The death toll from the Los Angeles wildfires rose to 11. The fires have destroyed more than 12,000 homes and other structures. Add Meta to the list of corporate entities jettisoning DEI. the parent of Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, terminating major diversity, equity, and inclusion programs effective immediately for hiring, training, and picking suppliers. This is ABC News.
Hi, I'm Michael Friedman, CEO of Simple Life Hospitality. Let us take the hassle out of vacation rental property management. We'll maximize your earnings and handle every detail from cleaning to maintenance and repairs. For guests, enjoy a stay that feels like home with hand-selected properties, personal touches like local recommendations, and extras like concierge service that will make your trip unforgettable. Whether you're a homeowner or a traveler, experience the Simple Life. Visit simpleliferentals.com.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Governor Tony Evers announced yesterday that he signed an executive order declaring an energy emergency in the state of Wisconsin. Brittany Merlot has more.
Winter weather around the region is to blame, as it's impacting the distribution of residential heating fuel, including heating oil and propane in the state. The Public Service Commission's Office of Energy Innovation says that multiple suppliers report challenges such as long lines at terminals and having to drive further distances to collect needed products. This executive order, number 253, will allow suppliers to get caught up from weather-related delays.
An Alberta Clipper system is expected to hit the state Sunday, bringing widespread snow all day and creating more travel delays. Meanwhile, it's been 650 days since anyone has heard the roar of snowmobiles on Wisconsin's Northwood trails. As you might expect, that lack of snowfall is hurting area businesses once again after a non-existent snowmobile season last year. The Vilas County Snowmobile Alliance says there is enough snow around most of the county to have a base for trails, but it isn't enough for them to open them yet. If they pick up another half foot this weekend, which is possible, then they can groom and go. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is seeking public comment on a grant project application to support ATV and UTV mapping and communication. According to a press release, the program would support projects that acquire and maintain statewide digital information application software for ATV and UTV riders, as well as adding more communication equipment and producing more maps. That information would provide riders with...
The Packers head to Philly. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Packers face the Eagles Sunday at 3:30. The forecast calls for mostly sunny skies and a high of 39. So what are the fans like at Lincoln Financial Field? I asked Packers safety Xavier McKinney, who's played there several times when he was with the Giants.
It's a tough environment. It's loud. Obviously, the fans are like super rowdy. No, they got a good fan base. You know, they got fans that go hard for their team, and which they should. Yeah, it's a good environment for sure.
Basketball, the Badgers host Minnesota tonight. The Bucks are in Orlando against the Magic. Doc Rivers says when he brings in A.J. Green, it's not only for the three-point shot, but defense as well.
When we bring him in, we're bringing in another defensive player. We look at that, and I don't know if the other teams realize that. He is a terrific defensive player. He's competitive, he's tough, and he takes the right shot. So he's been fantastic for us.
That's Bucks head coach Doc Rivers. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm Lisa Hale with WGBW News. Your news roundup in quick podcast form. You can find it anywhere at the WGBW website, WGBW.fm.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Scattered flurries and cloudy tonight, low in the mid-teens. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy, snow developing by night, high upper 20s. An inch or two of snow into Sunday. Snow tapering by afternoon, a high around 30. Colder for Monday and Tuesday. Currently, it's 26.
Matt Nair on Air.
It is our 1 year anniversary here on Matt Nair on Air. Thank you, Greg and Calvin, for being on this journey with me. It's been great.
Thanks for having me. I can't speak for Calvin.
I'm always thrilled to be here.
Unbridled.
The enthusiasm brimming over from you, Calvin. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you.
Matt Nair on Air. Weekdays 10 till noon on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. The Todd Alba Show.
Donald J. Trump has been officially certified the winner of the 2024 election the way that the Constitution dictates. You see how simple that is? There's a vote, you certify the results, democracy moves on. You might not like the results. The person I wanted to have elected didn't win, but that's the way democracy works. Unlike 4 years ago on January 6th, where rioters stormed the Capitol.
The Todd Alba Show, weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Max Inc. Radio, original local music from Wisconsin, Saturday and Sundays, 6 to midnight. This weekend, we welcome brand new band Take Back the Sun, and Terry chats with Eric.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who once tore his ACL playing chess, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back to Nite Lite. Conrad, we got a text from Steady Eddie. We got to hold on. We got to hold on to that nugget, though. It's the theme tonight, the nugget. We'll save.
Steady Eddie, interesting.
Some nights he's Steady Eddie. Some nights he's Steadfast Edward. He's a little more distinguished, so he always gives us.
Is
good
he
texts.
Steady Eddie tonight?
He didn't really specify. Oh, Steadfast Edward tonight.
Oh,
there's a
okay.
PS there though, as long as a Leon Uris book. Oh my God. He's got great texts. They're fun. My guest is Paige McKenna. She is here in studio with us. She's the director and filmmaker, the creative force behind the documentary Gold, which is set in Spread Eagle, Wisconsin at the Gold Nugget Strip Club. And so we talked a little bit, Paige, about, empowerment versus exploitation. How do you, as a director, with your leading ladies, so to speak, you want to take care of them? You just said you love that they had a safe environment to work for Dusty at the Gold Nugget. How do you walk that line as a director between being exploitative, and, empowering?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It was, I think just, being a really true storyteller was like the way that I did it, really, it's not focusing on, I could have made this film a bunch of different ways, right? I could have made it as a very tragic, very like pulling at your heartstrings like film, but instead it's really just like, what's next? And we all have like pasts, but we shouldn't dwell on the past. We should, dwell in the present and look to the future. And I think that the exploitative portions maybe focus more in the past, but with the women that I've interviewed, we have really like made sure to focus on like the present and the future. And I think that, for anyone that that kind of rings true.
Yeah. Do these girls, you said they're safe when they're in the club. There's a bouncer who takes care of them and he's a good guy.
Jim's an angel.
Yeah. So, but do they travel? Is there a circuit, or do they work just for, in this case, Dusty? Do they have like a home club? How does that work?
Yeah. So typically, and it's up, it's women specific, but typically a woman will not dance in her hometown or anywhere near her hometown because she doesn't necessarily want people she recognizes to see her at a club. And so a lot of these women are, driving from 2 to 4 hours away to come work at the club. So I find that really fascinating too, because it's like, they really have to plan, out, their weekends and, and so what was the second part of your question?
Do they have like a home club?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So from, working with the girls at the Nugget, they have all said that like they drive up there for the structure and for the way that Dusty runs the club. I mean, some of the girls that come from the UP, there's not a whole lot of options for clubs.
Right.
Like that's the closest club to the girls in the UP. But like for women from Milwaukee or, they could go work at, a club in Pulaski or North Point or whatever. But they choose to drive up because of the way it's run and because of how much sisterhood that's there. And that's what I really noticed, after my research of going to a couple different clubs, like the Gold Nugget has the sisterhood. And, if I were to work at a club, I'd work at the Gold Nugget because you walk in there and you can just feel as a female, you can feel the sense of like this is like the girls are watching out for each other too. It's
Right.
not that competition that you hear about most strip clubs. I remember Gypsy, one of the women in the film, she was telling me, this didn't make it into the film, but she had said like she had worked at clubs like on the East Coast, and there would be girls that would steal your stuff. They had like lockers and things, and she said she loves the Nugget. She can just leave her stuff out and nobody's going to touch it. Like there's so much respect at the Gold Nugget. So
you mentioned North Point. I drive by North Point every night when I come here.
Yeah.
And it's something like I've heard people talk about it. People in the area go there, and I've been asked, "Do you ever go there?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." There's other places I'd go for brunch on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But I am truly curious, and I told you when you got here, like a bunch of people from the set when I made a movie up there, The Godfather of Green Bay, went there. It was like 20 people. They made a night of it, made it fun. Those are the only circumstances. I think I would even go to a club like that in my hometown.
Yep.
But I'm truly curious, and I know you can't say that though, because oh, sure you are. You just want, but
Right.
I am curious, like as to when you say Dusty is protective and all that, and she used to be a dancer. Well, you kind of already answered that. I'm going to pivot here.
Okay.
How long were you into this project when you knew it was something, or at what point did you think I want to spend? Because these documentaries you have to be patient.
Yeah.
They take a year or two, sometimes 10.
Yep.
At what point did you know I want to spend this much time of my life shooting this project?
I think when Stacy approached me
Right
like,
away.
Yeah. I could tell like there was a sense about her where I was like, I really like I'm invested. I was already invested, and I think it was just like woman to woman. Like I part of my filmmaking journey so far, I mean, kind of by accident, has been empowering women. And I just think that that's a real passion of mine. And so for her to kind of drop that in my lap, and I knew it was going to be very uncomfortable for me. I grew up very Catholic.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And so, stepping foot in a club was like, and so,
I don't think I'm supposed to be here.
Right. I'm going to get lit on fire or something, but
that's some good old Catholic guilt for you.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I had said yes. And then I thought about it. I remember like going home and thinking about it. I'm like, well, I'm in, I guess I'm in, I'm all in.
Yeah.
And so then, my head started spinning in the best way, where I was like, this is another thing that I feel like I'm supposed to do. And because I was learning things as well. I'm learning through the process, and that's another thing that's very important to me as a filmmaker is like, do I learn things from the work that I'm doing?
Does that make you a better filmmaker when you're like, I have a lot to learn here?
Oh, absolutely.
So my approach to this is going to be, I'm an open book.
Yeah.
Lay it on me,
Yep. And curiosity is huge for me as a filmmaker. Like I seek out subjects that I'm curious about and that I want to learn more about, and I want to grow my mind for humanitarian reasons.
So, all right, one more question about Gold. For any independent filmmaker, it's hard to raise money. Whether you think you got a blockbuster on your hands or a documentary that might be tough to get people to see. You have a subject matter here that could be controversial.
Oh yeah.
I think more and more different lifestyles are accepted in our society. But was it hard to raise money given your subject matter?
It wasn't. Like, I would say people were more supportive of this film than my first film, which I found really interesting. And I think I was very, very surprised at the community of Green Bay really rallying behind me on this. Like, I thought of Green Bay. Part of me still thinks of Green Bay as like more of a conservative town. And, people aren't necessarily standing on soapboxes, preaching about these sort of topics in the community. And so I, as a filmmaker, you kind of grow a thick skin of like being rejected or, people saying no to grants that you apply for and things. But really, I think the biggest thing for me was the Canary Fund had written me a seed grant and given me a seed grant. And I actually sit on their board now. I have my first meeting with them
very nice,
this week or next week. Yeah. So they were able to, see the work that I'm doing. And that was kind of, they approached me and said, like, we'd love for you to be a part of this next generation of,
that's great.
supporting artists. So yeah, that means a lot to me.
So, all right. So 2 more questions for you. What was the response? You talked about Dusty's response, the owner of the Gold Nugget. what were your other actresses, so to speak? What was their response to the film?
I would say overall amazing, but they were shocked, I think, at first. I think they were shocked by the production value of the film. I'm very proud of that. I've had a group of the best professionals in the area supporting me in the creation of this film.
Nice.
My bosses at Shift Visuals.
That's convenient, huh?
Shot
That's
it,
great.
and so they really supported me through it. So I think, and now I'm losing track of the thought.
What were the other dancers' response to?
They were blown away. I had some. They had to take time, I think, to process, especially after the Iron Mountain showing. But I'll never forget. There was a picture I took of Sylvia, the youngest dancer, and we kind of dragged her out to eat with us before and stuff, and so she walked into the theater, and the beginning credit sequence is rolling, and I'm the most proud of that sequence because it's kind of a kick in the pants. But she walked in and she saw herself on screen, and she just stopped, and I'll never forget. And I took a picture of her with herself on the screen. This huge, image of her, and she's just standing there in awe, and you can just see she was just kind of blown away, like, I look like that, and
oh wow,
the girls look hot, like they're beautiful on camera, and like I think that was another thing that they realized is like they're beautiful inside and out, and so I was blown away at and that's all that matters to me.
Yeah,
absolutely. If the film flopped, I just wanted them to love it. So.
My guest is Paige McKenna. She is the director and creative force behind Gold, a documentary about the Gold Nugget Strip Club in Spread Eagle, Wisconsin. Can you stick around? We've done another quick break, but I have more filmmaking questions to ask you, and I want to ask you about Seeds too. But where can people see Gold? Is it out there yet? Or
no. So it's making the festival run right now. So maybe it'll get picked up for distribution, hopefully, but it takes about a year for the festival run. So 2026 sometime.
What festivals do you have coming up? Because that's a place people can see it on the big screen, and that's the way to see a film, any film, I think.
Mm-hmm. I do too. We're doing 2 more showings local in Appleton coming up in February. So if y'all check, we have a website, goldadocumentary.com. We update our screenings on there, but we just got accepted into the Beloit Film Festival.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. I've heard really good things about Beloit.
Me too. Yeah. It's been going on for 20, 25 years or something. Yeah. So that's it's cool. It's good.
Have you tried Driftless or Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, I did. Okay. It didn't get accepted yet, but I did apply. So
still waiting to hear.
Yeah, still waiting to hear. So.
All right. Well, we've got a few more questions for Paige. She's going to hang out with us for a few more minutes before we bring in Lisa Hale, who is going to give me a movie line quiz, folks. You're not going to want to miss that. And she's going to talk about her show tomorrow, New Wisco Weekend, which is always fun. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network. You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba.
Ever tried balancing a dozen eggs in one hand while hopping on one foot? Or maybe juggling cats while riding a unicycle? Sounds ridiculous, right? But guess what? That's exactly what texting while driving is like. Your human brain only has the capacity to focus on one thing at a time. So when you're behind the wheel, give driving your undivided attention.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The Dom Salvia Show.
Brad Schimmel, a J6 sympathizer, and he wants to be your next Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice. When he was Attorney General of Wisconsin, he spent thousands of dollars on memorial coins.
I would have been fired
that stood
if
for
I'd done that.
Kicking ass every day. Hey, if you got to get a coin that says it, you're probably not doing it.
With your face on it.
The Dom Salvia Show. Weekdays from 4 till 6 on the Civic Media Radio Network and on the Civic Media app. The Todd Alba Show.
What's going on in Washington today as we move into 2025? Have your antenna up. Don't rely on all the media sources. Just your own wisdom, your own heart, your own gut. Listen to what they're saying about our friends and neighbors and family, because we innately know these people that we live with every day in our communities. Don't allow words and thoughts to tear us apart. Hold fast to that which we know, which is good.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.us. It's easy to listen to your favorite local radio station anytime. Download the Civic Media app from the Apple or Google Play Store, then listen live or
fun guest. It's been so nice to meet you, Paige, and thank you for coming into the studio.
Thank you for having me. It's
You're
been a
welcome.
blast.
Yeah, she's a director of the film Gold. It's a documentary that was shot here in northern Wisconsin, actually, in Spread Eagle, Wisconsin, set at a strip club called the Gold Nugget. And the film is called Gold. It's on the festival circuit right now. It'll be out soon. I'm sure it'll get picked up somewhere. That's exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
You have another film. Tell us about that, because we can see that one. That's on YouTube for free right now.
Yep.
So tell us about your first film you did.
Yeah, so Seeds of Life is about a woman from Brazil who she lived in Haiti for 25, 30 years on the border area, so of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Okay. So she is like, I like to compare her to like Mother Teresa as far as like her knowledge, her wealth of knowledge, her humanitarianism.
It's a big habit to fill.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. And so I had gone out there to do just some mission work, I guess.
Just
couple
separate
years.
of movie making. You just went there out of the goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I worked at Kohler Company at the time, actually, in corporate, and quit my job to have that experience.
To go do
just work. Yeah, mission work.
Conrad, I see that path for you. Have you ever have you thought about joining the Peace Corps since you've been working here? I have.
I can't say I have. I'm sorry.
That's the difference between me and you. And you and Paige.
Yeah,
Conrad,
but
he gets paid mostly just because I give him a hard time. The work is easy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
But he gives it back to me.
Yeah, well, that's important.
I'm the weirdest person he's ever met.
Yes,
so.
yeah, that's still true.
It's an exaggeration, but sorry. Continue.
No, you're good. And so, yeah, I had gone to my boss and I said, I really like to take 2 weeks off. And I was a contracted position at the time. I had been there 2 years. And he's like, I don't think I can swing that for you. And I said, well, here's my 2 week notice then. Because I just knew I learned so much from Kohler in the corporate world, but I knew it wasn't for me. And this was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So I went to Haiti 2 weeks later and just kind of took everything in. And when I was there, I had worked with, her name is Maria Marciano. I had worked with her, just like we built like walls for a dental clinic that was a pop-up dental clinic there. And I would just remember thinking, I was so nervous around her. Like, I was just like, you are like God in my eyes. Like, she was just like, so like together with it, kind of like a, really a hard, woman, like where she was very intimidating. And, I got back to the States and my life was changed because I'm like, this is like, I have drinking water like right over there. Like I can just walk to the sink. Like, this is nuts. So I had a really hard time like adapting back into society. I was only there for 2 weeks, but it really changed my life. And so I immediately started fundraising and brought her the idea. And I said, can I make a film about you? And I thought for sure she'd say no, because she's the most humble woman I've ever met in my life. And she was like, we'll do what we have to do. So she was like,
yes, basically, yeah.
It was her way of saying yes. And so I raised funds through GoFundMe. Took about a year. I had no idea what I was doing at that point because it was my first film.
Yeah.
And then I dragged 2 dudes along with me. Each stayed for a week. One is Josh Kufal. He's local. He shoots cinematography.
Okay.
So he's a local freelancer to Green Bay. And then Pete Olson from Madison area. he also came with me. So together we made the film, and it was all in Portuguese and French Creole. And so when I was out there, I had
to make your life even tougher.
Right, for my first film.
Yeah, for your first film.
So I had to come up with the questions. I knew the story I wanted to tell, but that the translating had to happen twice. English to Spanish, Spanish to Portuguese, Spanish to French Creole. And I remember Maria told me, through a translator, like, all right, you're going to this place today, and it was called Tiroli, and it was 3 hours away. And I was on the back of a moped with a man that I couldn't communicate with, who had a gun with him as protection. So that was really like a wake up. Like, okay, am I going to be kidnapped?
That must have made you feel like an actual documentary filmmaker, kind of in a dangerous area. Yeah,
it was. That's probably the coolest story I ever have. Yeah, it was really neat. But at the time, I was like, am I ever going to see America again?
Right.
And it was the language barrier, and I never felt like such an idiot before in my life of not being able to communicate. But anyway, long story short, I got back to the States, got everything translated, and then I realized I have a film here. And so I made a film that is really, really eye-opening, and it did really well in the festival circuit, and it did well. It's been well received. So yeah, that's on YouTube for free. If you just look up Seeds of Life documentary.
Seeds of Life, Paige McKenna documentary.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know where I'd feel like a big idiot is if I went down there to do like what you did. Like you just said, you had to put up walls and build walls. I'm not handy. So I feel like I would get there and they'd be like, okay, you can't do that.
No.
Why are you here? Are you completely useless? Or like, is there other stuff to do? Like, can you just carry the wood over there? Okay.
Yeah. There was other things to do. There was we had to tie rebar as part of the thing, which I've never tied rebar since, but that was a cool skill to learn. And then there was welding opportunities. There's really, she'll take you
Sounds
anywhere.
really terrible.
It was nice to be out of the heat for a while, or out of the cold, sorry, because it was,
We have about a minute left, Paige. This has been so much fun. What are you watching on TV that you could recommend? Do you binge watching anything? Do you only watch documentaries? Do you like other films? Give us something we can work with here.
Okay. Well, so I'm going to have to plug the movie Anora.
I've heard it's great. I have not seen it yet. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Well, it came out kind of the same time I was filming Gold, and actually Sean Baker, the director, found Gold and donated $50 to GoFundMe. Yeah. And then one of the women in the film, her name's Luna. She plays kind of a minor role. She plays Anora's best friend in the film, another dancer. Her and I connected, and we've FaceTimed, and we've been texting. Yeah. And so she's incredible. And so Sean Baker did so much research for that film. So sorry for those of you who don't know,
great.
But Anora is also about a dancer who has overcome stigmas, and so it's really
nominated for awards too. It might get Oscar nods. So
it won the Palmes d'Or at Cannes Film Festival. So that was.
So you got to get Sean Baker to option.
Oh my God, I know
your film. Make that into a narrative,
right? Yeah.
Listen, Conrad. We gotta help. What do we do here? We'll be consultants.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We'll do it. We have nothing to offer you, Paige. I'm sorry.
No, it's great.
Hey, this is really fun.
This is offering me a lot, actually. Just to have a platform to share this story.
We're happy to help, and please let us know when you have more information when the film comes out. We'd love to help get the word out. So congratulations, and it's amazing to finish a film, much less make a good one. So awesome, good luck, and don't be a stranger.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Paige McKenna,
having me.
you're very welcome. Lisa Hale is coming up next. We're going to do a movie quiz. We're going to find out what's coming up on her show tomorrow. Great stuff. More to come on Nite Lite. Great to have you with me. This is Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
To the talk of Green Bay, WGBW. You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Wisconsin-based Kohl's is set to close some of its stores, with 27 underperforming locations impacted by the decision. The closures are scheduled to happen in April. None of the affected stores are located in Wisconsin or Minnesota. A central Wisconsin man has been arrested after killing 3 people last week. With more, here's Civic Media's Jimmy Kuska.
The Juneau County Sheriff's Office said Thursday that they have taken triple homicide suspect Virgil Thew into custody. Thew is accused of killing 33-year-old Elizabeth Kolba, as well as a 13-year-old girl and a 12-year-old girl in his care. In a post just before 1 p.m. on Thursday, the Sheriff's Office posted that Thew was arrested in Elroy and that the public is not in danger. The FBI and U.S. Marshals helped in the search. New Lisbon police said that they received 172 tips as of Wednesday on Thew's whereabouts.
Thew is accused of killing the woman and 2 girls last Monday. Health officials in Wisconsin say a new strain might be the cause behind an unusually high number of norovirus cases this winter. According to the DHS, the outbreaks are normal during this time of year as people tend to gather inside, contributing to the spread of the highly contagious virus. But this year, there have been over 100 outbreaks across the state. Experts believe that the increase is due to a new strain of the norovirus that most residents haven't built up an immunity to. Norovirus causes vomiting and diarrhea and is sometimes called the stomach flu. Fire Chief Mike Stanley is leaving Oshkosh and is moving back to Colorado, where he will be the new deputy fire chief in Greeley. Stanley has been the fire chief in Oshkosh since 2018. Oshkosh interim city manager John Fitzpatrick says moving to Greeley will allow Stanley to help several of his family members in the state. Stanley's last day as Oshkosh fire chief is January 29th. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Due to the LA wildfires and the devastation they've brought, actress Jean Smart says award shows should be tabled. The 2-time Golden Globe winner and star of Hacks says award shows should not be televised and that all the revenue that the telecasts would have brought in should be donated to fire victims. Smart said going forward with the shows is a bad look for the entertainment industry. Keeping with the theme, the Oscars seem to be getting the message. According to Variety, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences says voting will be delayed for this year's awards. Voting for the various categories started January 8th, and the new deadline will be January 14th instead of January 12th. As a result, they will push the announcement of nominations back 2 days as well to January 19th. Still way too early just to see how the fires will continue to affect everyone in Southern California. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nite Lite with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Scattered flurries and cloudy tonight, low in the mid-teens. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy, snow developing by night, high upper 20s. An inch or 2 of snow into Sunday. Snow tapering by afternoon, a high around 30. Colder for Monday and Tuesday. Currently, it's 26.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Here's what the WSJ had said after J6. This week has probably finished Donald Trump as a serious political figure. Boy, that hasn't aged well, has it?
No, not at all. In the Wall Street Journal. So after what they just said 4 years ago, Maggie, they couldn't bring it upon themselves to say that guy who did that shouldn't be anywhere near the White House again. Nope, couldn't do it.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app. Dom Salvia.
Next time, our favorite Delano Democrat Harvey Kaye will join us. Are Republicans really planning $5 trillion in spending offsets to Medicare and the AC?
That was fun. Paige and I whenever I have a good a guest, someone fun in the studio, we take pictures and we put it on social media. Paige is so tall, Conrad. I don't know if you know this. She can dunk. I don't know that, but I took a picture. I thought it'd be fun to get on my knees and like look up because she had heels on, but I mean, she was taller than me. So I don't think that's going to translate though. I think people go, what is going on in this picture? I look like a, little person. Anyway, she was great. Thank you so much to Paige. Lisa Hale is coming up in just a minute. Let's read Steady Eddie's text. Our question, folks, tonight, and you can still get in on the fun, is who is the weirdest person you know? And it could be a funny celebrity, someone from your personal life. If it's someone we don't know, though, give us an example of what makes them weird. Steady Eddie says, Pete, I know you don't do a lot of politics on your show. I really don't do any, Steady Eddie. But he says, so I won't give the name of the weirdest person in the world, but his initials are Donald John Trump. Okay. Hey, Trump's weird. I think even his followers would say he's pretty weird. He says, Pete, I was a distant second. Thank you, Steady Eddie. He says, you have potential, but need to apply yourself. You know what? I am tired of these older guys telling a young whippersnapper he's got to get it together. So Eddie says, you were a distant second. You have potential, but you need to apply yourself to weirdness he's talking about. He says, Conrad and Steady Eddie both received participation certificates. Steadfast Edward.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that. People lose their mind over participation. The silver medal in the Olympics is a participation award when you really think about it.
I still think they get paid a lot of money to get that. So, I mean,
take the paper.
That's a little
Conrad.
bit more than participation trophy.
I don't know. But who cares? Give a kid a certificate. Who gives a crap? P.S. So a balding white guy can't make a movie about exotic dancers. I'll have you know I resemble that remark. Oh, I'm sorry, Steady Eddie. He says, look for the premiere of my new documentary art film, Misdemeanor Exotic Dancer, True Story. If there's something inappropriate there that I didn't catch real time, I apologize. But and I'm sorry to mean to offend you, Steady Eddie. You make whatever movie you want, pal. I'm not here to judge. Bridget from the 818 says, Weird Al, his songs are so funny. Yeah, Weird Al, that's built-in weirdness right there. Thank you, Bridget, and thank you, Steady Eddie. Turning our attention to, all right, I'm excited for this next guest. Lisa comes on the show periodically. She covers news for Northeast Wisconsin, WGBW, WISS. You've heard her work. She keeps you informed. She gets the job done, and she's also a big-time movie fan, and she joins us now on Nite Lite.
Hi there.
To talk about another thing she's got going, New Wisco Weekend, which is a phenomenal show here on WGBW. How are you, my friend?
I am doing very, very well. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you. And thank you for being here on a Friday night. I love having other civic media people on Friday nights. It's just sort of like festive, whether it's Terry Barr. By the way, Terry Barr Band Friday will continue starting up next week. Terry took some time off for the holidays, which she deserved. But Lisa, it's so great to have you here. How are you?
I am doing very, very well. And I'm glad Terry's back, too, because she helps me out on New Wisco Weekend a lot.
Yeah.
And I missed her while she was on holiday so much.
We did, too. I'm glad she's back, but I'm glad she had a break, too. It was well-deserved. Did you take time off for the holidays? Did the news quit for a couple days at least?
The news did not quit. I mean, we had Christmas Day off, we had New Year's Day off, but for the most part, we just kind of plowed through. The news team is really, we're gung ho, and we put our noses to the grindstone, so to speak. So
you sure do. You guys do a phenomenal job. So, do you anticipate things getting crazier as the new year unfolds? What kind of news year, if you had to prognosticate, are we looking at more fun news stories, more horrific news stories, given the political climate, or what do you think? What do we have on tap?
I am not looking forward to January 20th. And the reason why I say that is because I think that's going to start a news cycle that can be both good or bad. You know, and I don't want to get too much into politics and everything, but when the new administration takes over, there are going to be people that hate everything that happens and people that love everything that happens.
Right.
And there's going to be a lot of that going on. And I hate seeing that. I really do. But I think it's going to be an interesting year. Let's put it that way. And I'm telling you, if this weather doesn't get its mind set, I'm going to have to write a letter.
Wait, what do you mean? Is it too cold?
No, it's not that it's too cold, it's that it's going up and down, up and down. I wish it
Oh,
would
yeah.
pick something and just, kind of do something the same way for a week. That would be
Yeah,
great.
I'm kind of with you. It is a little weird. It's like one day it's 2 below and then it's 40. It's
Exactly.
very strange.
Exactly.
But you know what? I can handle the 2 below, the bad days, knowing there's a 35-degree day around the corner. That does help rather than just, I don't know.
As somebody who has made their home both in the South and in the Midwest, I will say this. One can put on a sweatshirt, a coat, wrap up in a blanket. That's all fine and good when it's 2 below. But when it's 101 with a heat index of 128, you can only take off so much before you get arrested. So, I much prefer the Midwest.
Or you could take off stuff and just stay at home, Lisa. You don't have to go out parading around the neighborhood.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't.
So how are things at New Wisco Weekend? You got this great show that dropped a few months ago. It's just such a fun show, a magazine show focusing here on Northeast Wisconsin. You've got Conrad doing sports. You got Brittany Merlot contributing, Terry Barr. I do the classic movie pick.
Yep.
Todd Michaels, Amanda. Have you been enjoying yourself?
It is probably, and I hate saying this because I love my job. I love being a journalist, and I love writing. But this is probably the most fun I have all week is when I'm working on putting this together because it's such a good show and so much fun. And every issue is different, even though it's got the same elements, if that makes sense. Every
Totally.
issue we have a Pete Schwaba classic movie pick of the week. But every issue, it's a different one, and it's got a different feel. Every issue, we have Amanda with her commentary, and one week it might be serious, and the next week it might be something that just has you rolling on the floor laughing. So, and Terry Barr always brings such a wonderful personality to her feature stories and Conrad's sports stories. It's a really good combination of people. And we've got even Melissa Kay from Wisconsin Rapids and down in down south, I'm not sure exactly which city she's from, but Joanne Krulatz, who's also on the Civic Media News team, she helps out occasionally too. So we get stories from all over, but they all focus on Wisconsin.
Very nice. How do you pick a theme? You have a theme every week. This week it's going to be agriculture. Are you worried that you'll run out of themes?
No.
Okay, good.
Because about once a month, I have a meeting with Terry. We sit down and we go, okay, so what's coming up this next month? Are there any special days? Is there anything special that we need to think about? Like in February, are we going to do a Valentine's Day show? Or are we going to do one that's Go Red for Women for heart health, that kind of thing. What are we going to do? So it could be, or it could be, I want to do a story on this, so let's make the theme this. We've done that too. So
nice. All right. I love doing the classic movie pick because
I
tried it. I know you always come back at me with movie lines, so you're obviously familiar with the classics I'm picking. Have you seen Heaven Can Wait?
I saw it, but it was so long ago that I remember seeing it, but I didn't have any quotes to throw back at you this week.
Yeah. Well, I just figured it was either that or you were busy, but this is like the first time in 4 weeks you haven't thrown movie quotes back at me.
I know, and I hated that.
I think you should give it a watch because it's to me it was the perfect movie for this weekend because we have playoff football and Warren Beatty's character is Joe Pendleton, a quarterback for the Rams. It's got comedy with Charles Grodin and Diane Cannon, so funny and a very touching, kind of a nice love story too.
Right? Yeah, I do remember the Charles Grodin Diane Cannon interactions. They always made me giggle. So I was really disappointed that I didn't have a quote right at the top of my head to throw back at you.
All right. Well, it's interesting you say that because I thought it would be fun since you and I seem to be lovers of the same movies and know a lot of the same quotes. If you gave me a little movie line quiz. So do you have a few things prepared?
I have a few things prepared.
Okay.
I'm going to start you off easy. And if you don't get this one, I don't know what we're going to do. But it's very, very easy. It's,
all right.
I see you have the machine that goes bing.
Oh, man. This is the easy one?
Yeah. I see you have the machine that goes ping.
I need a little hint.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's obviously a comedy.
It is a comedy. It is a comedy that features a very well-known comedy troupe.
Kids in the
No.
Comedy. The State?
Oh my God. Okay, so does it help if I tell you I have a very English sense of humor?
Oh, Monty Python.
The Meaning of Life.
Yes. Oh, wow. All
I
right,
see
so
you have the machine that goes ping.
That is, listen, I haven't seen that movie in so long, but I should have gotten that anyway, just because of the way it's laid out. My guest is Lisa Hale. She covers news here for WGBW and WISS, does a great job in Northeast Wisconsin, and she is the host of New Wisco Weekend, which will play tomorrow and on Sunday, and she does a great job with that. I do the classic movie pick, and I've already been stumped. She's got some Conrad's waiting with the bell, and I was so far off. So if that was the easy one, I think I'm in trouble, but throw another one at me.
Okay, these all I think are easy because, as you know, I collect quotes. Red meat, we crave sustenance.
Lisa, it's been great having you on the show. Have a great weekend. You know that one, Conrad?
I do not.
J.B. Thompson.
It sounds familiar, though.
The guy behind the guy checked in on the stream, and he says, Monty Python, the meaning of life. Come on, Pete.
Yep.
And Amanda Nimmer yells, Lisa, with all caps. So people love having you here. I don't know that I do. I can't get give me the quote again. Give me the line again.
Red meat, we crave sustenance. Okay, I'll give you another quote from that movie. I'll give you another quote from that movie.
All right.
I gotta go, Julia. We got cows. Cow.
Google it.
Another cow.
Gotta go, Julia. I don't know this one.
Oh my God. When was the last time you saw Twister? And I cannot believe you did not know that came from Twister.
Lisa, that is not a classic.
That is a classic.
I saw
it's
Twister
from the
once.
90s, but it is
I
a
know.
classic.
You know, you're right. Twister is a classic. I saw it once. I'm more of a fan of the famous comedies. But listen, I will take a beating on live air. Keep them coming. I know I'm going to get one.
Okay, you're not going to get this one. I can guarantee you're not going to get this one.
Perfect. Love it.
All I got to do now is find a one-legged nun walking a goat, and I win.
Hint, please.
Deborah Foreman and Sam Jones.
Oh, Deborah Foreman. Sam Jones?
Yep. He did two really good movies, or two moderate movies, Flash Gordon and this one.
I'm just going to Google Deborah Foreman.
You should. And if you haven't
I know
seen
who
this
she
movie,
is, but I mean to get her credits. Oh, she was in Real Genius.
yes, she was. She had a great.
Love Real Genius.
Yeah. Oh, Laszlo, buddy.
Yeah, we had John Grise on the show who played.
He played Laszlo.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I absolutely love that. A great quote from that movie is it the dream when you're standing there in sun god robes and they're throwing little pickles at you? That's
Oh, I love Val Kilmer in that movie. He's so phenomenal.
I know he really is.
All right, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to look this up during the break, and I'm going to come back and eat crow, and I'll have my tail between my legs and my hat in my hand. Lisa Hale is stumping me on a movie quiz here.
Well, I am picking unusual ones because I did want to stump you. So.
That's okay. I just want Conrad to be able to ring the bell. So we'll be right back. We've got a couple more minutes with Lisa when we come back. It's Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. So great to have you with me on this Friday night on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home of Mino and the Mayor. I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. The beginning of the year means a new session for the Wisconsin State Legislature. Members of the State Senate and State Assembly were sworn into office on Monday, January 6th. There are a lot of new faces in that group, with 6 new members in the State Senate and 31 new representatives in the State Assembly. While Republicans will remain in the majority, that majority is now the smallest it has been in more than a decade. The days of the GOP's supermajority are over. After last year's elections under new, fairer maps, we'll see if those smaller majorities lead to more compromise in a legislature that's been dominated by the right for nearly 15 years. Just a handful of seats make the difference now between a Republican and Democratic majority, and there are many more opportunities now to bring accountability to legislators, especially those in competitive districts. And in a healthy democracy, that's the way things should be.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation Area and on our website at civicmedia.us.
Hey there, it's Carrie Joy with your Work Money Minute. Central heat, the HVAC systems that heat your entire house. Man, those can really cost us an arm and a leg. And they lose up to 30% of their energy through the ductwork, plus more when we're heating rooms that we aren't even using. Well, one trick that can bring down your heating bill is to lower your thermostat and use energy-efficient space heaters where you really need the heat. I'm a little retro, and I like radiant heaters. Those are heaters that just heat a specific area in a room. On average, running a 1,500-watt space heater is going to cost you about 20 cents an hour. While running your central electric furnace, that's going to run you $1.37 an hour. So space heaters can mean real savings. However, if you use a space heater, make sure you follow the directions for their safe use. For more
All right, everybody on the text line is getting these movies correct except me. I will read those. Monday, folks, we have a great show. Jordan Tresky will be here. He wrote a book called Building the Milwaukee Bucks, and Victoria Davis from the Capital Times will be here. Great guest next week. Author Jody Himnon will be here, and filmmaker Anders Lindell, the creative force behind Green and Gold, the movie about a farmer who bets everything on the Packers to save his farm. A great film that will open on July 31st. Arthur Ursink from Wisconsin Foodie will be here as well on Thursday night. And as I mentioned before, Terry Barr will be back on Friday night to continue Bar Band Friday night. Right now, we have a few more minutes with our friend Lisa Hale, who is stumping the living daylights out of me with her movie quiz. And here's what I'm getting on the text line, Lisa. From the 608 Twister with about 18 exclamation points. That's from the 608. Also, the 608 says the meaning of life. They got it. Aunt Carla checks in. Conrad's aunt says, love heaven can wait. The bell was when they killed main characters was killed. I think there's a typo in there somewhere. I didn't understand that, but I'm with you, Aunt Carla. Great movie. My daughter texted in and says, my dad is the weirdest person I know. So she's in cahoots with Conrad there. I don't know how she's getting back to college, but after that text. And then, Aunt Carla also said, I just can't make it up or pretend. Are we going out of order there, Conrad?
She's saying she is the weirdest.
Ah, okay. So someone in Conrad's family is weird. All right, so we're even. All right, Lisa, so I know what that is. I did cheat during the break.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Yes.
My chauffeur, Deborah Foreman. I don't think I ever saw that film, to be honest with you. I thought you were going to come at me with like Caddyshack and Fletch and, Groundhog Day and all this kind of stuff. But you're going B-side on me.
I'm going
which
B-side.
I appreciate. Yeah.
Definitely. And
all right, that's fine.
My chauffeur is such and it's very quotable. There are so many quotes in there that are just.
I did see it years ago. And Deborah Foreman was in Valley Girl.
Yes.
I totally forgot about that. And another film she was in when I pulled up her page, April Fool's Day, which was actually a really fun kind of horror comedy film.
Mm-hmm. That
was
a good
one. From Back to the Future was in that too. Great cast.
Yeah.
All right. I have to get one before you leave.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm kind of nervous now. My palms are all sweaty.
Well, I'm trying to pull out a movie that is not necessarily a B-side movie, but I don't think that'll work well.
Just stick with the B-sides. That's fine.
Okay. Reality is so unreal.
Just ring the damn bell, Conrad. I need a hint. Give me a genre or a.
These
or
are
an
all
actor.
from comedy. These are all from comedies, and this one that I just quoted, "Reality is so unreal," stars Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley.
Oh yeah, what is that? Summer Days?
Summer School.
Summer School. That's close enough.
Yep. There you go.
I can't believe you're quoting Mark Harmon movies, Lisa.
You know, there's nothing wrong with a little Mark Harmon on a long Saturday night.
That's better than NCIS. If you were quoting him from NCIS, I know I never get those. But yeah,
there's no quote you can do from Mark Harmon on NCIS. The only thing you can do is a back of the head slap to get the head. So.
And I did see that movie, but I probably once, and I never would have guessed that quote. So, all right,
yeah,
you got another one?
I'll hit you with some. I do, but I don't think you're gonna get it.
Well, why break precedent? Let's just see what happens.
Okay, not weird, but like exciting weird.
All right, Lisa, I think next time you come on the show, we need some more parameters.
You just said to pull out some quotes, and
you
I
know
was
what?
thinking of all my favorite movies. So,
And I did because I thought we hit it off so much on the new Wisco weekend. When you were throwing those quotes at me, we were there, man. I knew every one of those quotes, and those, are movies I like too.
Well,
but,
those are movies that you know and really like.
yeah. All right.
I can tell you this right now. You do not like this movie that I just quoted.
All right, give me the line again, please.
Okay, not weird, but like exciting weird.
So you're saying I wouldn't like that movie?
You do not like this movie.
You know that? Wow. Okay.
I do know this. I know this for a fact that you do not like this movie.
Weird.
But
it sounds like
weird?
something on a Bill and Ted or Fast Times, but I know it's not Fast Times because I know that movie by heart. Weird.
80s comedy musical.
Musical?
Mm-hmm.
Grease? No. Grease 2?
Yes.
Grease 2.
Yes. I told you hated it. I told you.
Everybody hates Grease 2. Nobody likes.
And that's where you're wrong. There is a cult following of Grease 2 lovers, of which I belong.
That kind of makes me like you even more, but I am frustrated. Grease 2. Lisa Hale throws Grease 2 lines at me, and it's like 5 words. All right, so obviously, I've got a lot of films to watch. I am not even close. I got to do my homework. Here we got on the stream, JB, the guy behind the guy, says, weird person, the merch madman, Eric Gulbranson. You should see some of the funny merch that this guy created. Shop thedearmageddon.com. I'm happy to throw some pub JB's way because he's found us a lot of guests. He's the guy behind the guy, and I'm anxious to see that movie too. All right, Lisa, we're out of time. I think I put a goose egg up. It's very embarrassing.
Don't hate me because I
don't hate you.
Okay.
I actually like it, and if we keep doing this, eventually I'm going to get one, and I think that's what's going to motivate me for next time.
At least I didn't throw a Harry Potter quote at you.
Oh, that would have been horrible. I'd rather have Grease too. Hey, have a great show tomorrow. Great working with you on the show. Keep up the great work, and let's do this again soon.
Absolutely. You have a great night.
You too. That's Lisa Hale, host of New Wisco Weekend. Check it out Saturday and Sunday right here at Civic Media. I would also like to thank my other guest, Paige McKenna. Thank you for all your texts. So much fun tonight when you guys are part of the show. We will be back on Monday with some great guests, more Nite Lite, more comedy, more everything. Good night, Wisconsin.